following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations. The following program contains opinions of the participants and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network. The network believes in a safe space for all ideas to be expressed and on its duty to create such a platform for free speech. Viewer discretion is strictly advised. For a real view, real opinion, and for an honest conversation, it's time to Get Real with Mahieash Johnney. Tonight, coming to you from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Get Real, where we talk to notable newsmakers that matters to you. Doesn't matter whether they are here from home or all around the world. If they matter, we bring them to you. And tonight is one such key individual who is basically spearheading, who is actually one of the pillars of spearheading the economic process of Sri Lanka in the current government. The Deputy Minister of Economic Development and also the Minister of Labour, Dr.Anil, Jayantha, Fernando. Welcome back to the program. Good to see you once again after a very long time.
Thank you. A great pleasure joining.
I hope you've been busy.
Yes, usual.
Minister, there are a lot of things with regard to the economy that I need to raise with you and also discuss with you, because last time when we met, we were at the early stages of your administration coming into power. 1 year now just have passed, just like that, and we are kind of taking assessment as to what you all promised and how you all have managed to deliver in terms of the economy and also overall the country's trajectory. 2022 was a pivotal year for Sri Lanka. I think it's going to be from now onwards referred to as before 2022 and after 2022. And after 2022, the structure was as such, the political landscape was completely refurbished by the people itself. And so here you are now in power, 1 year down the line. Now, what I want to ask you before I get into the economic issues is, as you are part of the cabinet and also part of a responsible minister, there are accusations regarding how the pace of the amount of relief that is being provided to the people in comparison to the pace that you all are going after previous criminals or so-called criminals of previous administrations. What the accusation mostly is that you're failing to secure the economy, which is one of the things that you all promised. So in order to cover that up, you're bringing in the whole drama of going after your political opponents, basically. How do you all respond to that?
In a way, it's a very good question. So, in a way, we first look at what's the connection to economy, or the corruption, even like criminals or the opiums, the drugs and all. Like, though we have separate items, they are interconnected in a way. To great extent, the key driver of either the developing an economy or even just engaging in this corruption or the other the bad parts of this economy is connected with your agency, so politicians. So political sphere plays a key role. So therefore our mandate is to broadly transform the entire society to a better place where everyone's life would be better off, and that is what we call a thriving nation and a beautiful life. So in that course, so we cannot just pay attention on one area and the other is not that important. Everything is important. why this the particular criticism comes in, you need to check, like when it comes to corruption and crime and all, it doesn't happen in isolation. So to some extent there would be one or two people separately engaged, but as a system, it's a ring, it's a network of actors, so that if a genuine government, so whoever who facilitates, actually our government facilitates to eliminate corruption, and we facilitate to punish corrupt as well, because these two things are important. This is the base of our mandate. So that is happening because we have not taken any extra efforts of the government is just not chasing behind criminals or the corrupt. So we are facilitating respective government agencies. They do the job. In the past, so those agencies may not have had these experiences. That would be one of the reasons why we need to ask another question: who is raising this concern? So sometimes there is a very logical argument. So if I'm guilty, if I see something is going wrong, so I have two options. Like one is to try my best to hide from the situation, or to create in the noise in the society that something against the humanity or would take place. So therefore, just to conclude, the Mahieash, we have not taken anything over the other. All are parallelly going on. And some noises are there at the same time, so we look at the economic side as well.
The validity comes into play here, Minister, is because of the simple fact the amount of relief that the people were expecting from your government in comparison to what is happening in terms of going after the so-called criminals. The investigation must go on. It should go on. There is no doubt about that. What the people, the opposition's accusation is that, well, you promised to never run the country like how it ran prior in the 75 years of its existence before you all came to power. And here you all are doing the same thing, and the key pillar of the promises you all made, which was to revamp the economy and to bring a better life to the people of this nation, is not happening. Now, why isn't that the priority number one right now, and the criminals are becoming priority number one and not the people?
So that is their accusation. So here it is not number 1, 2, 3. So our number one is the entire gamut of like this particular course of transforming the society. So within which different actions are there. So like economic activities again, so accusation, and we do not take adequate actions to give relief. Actually, giving relief is the biggest relief, and our government is taking the power from this the crooks and culprits. That is the biggest relief. So relief may come in qualitatively and quantitatively, and a short period of time and the long period of time. Actually, our relief to the general public would happen over a longer period of time while transforming the society. So sometimes the short-term relief may be in a budget or maybe in medium time. So it is a temporary thing. But under the previous regime, so the government, so they knew only just taking care of general public is just giving something, peanuts, just giving reliefs. So that could be the reason why they are comparing relief and the just dealing with criminals. But again, you can't compare the quantifiable thing. So they're just giving a relief in terms of financial benefits or maybe in increase of salaries. If you just take the list, full list, what we have just done in budget allocation in 2025 itself, in 2026 as well, we do our maximum. For example, 240 billion had been allocated for social spending, within which, so like that is a huge amount. But that cannot be compared with the qualitative action that we are doing. So how do you say the number of actions may vary? So if there are many criminals, many actors who are accused and corrupt, of course the relevant agencies are taking actions. But everything, so in number of cases, so people who are taken into custody, maybe 100. But that cannot be compared with one, the financial benefit, for example, social spending, or just giving some benefits to school students or plantation workers likewise, then you may count there are only 1, 2, 3 items have been given. Here you are chasing behind 100 criminals. So I don't know how that particular comparison comes, is because our mandate is to transform the society and do everything right.
Minister, let's get into the economic discussion, which is exactly the area and which we are more importantly wanting to discuss tonight. I want to start off with the IMF program, which is one of the areas that you all are very much spearheading right now. We're supposed to get out of that program somewhere around in 2027.
2027, Mahieash. Yeah.
Yes. So are we going to extend the program beyond that? Because why I'm asking is, if the program worked, then there's no need for us to extend beyond 2027 to be at the beck and call of the IMF, because we pretty much our entire financial system would have come to a particular point if we would have followed their recommendations and then their guidelines.
Yeah.
So is the government hoping to go beyond 2027? Because the president said his goal is to make sure that we will never want the IMF ever again. So what is the position there?
Yeah, in a way, I have to just correct in a way, like IMF is an international agency, the development, like, in a way, partner to do a certain things. So we are a member of that, the IMF. So that we are working with IMF. So always there are lots of avenues within which we have to collaborate, cooperate and discuss. What our president referred, and we are just talking about, is that this is a special program that is extended fund facility program.
Exactly.
That really went beyond the balance of payment issues, that is mainly due to the country was just made bankrupt and collapsed situation. Just to take the country out of that particular abyss was one, the strategy was this particular program. So therefore we do not have any intention of continuing that particular program, so that is working with a given medium term framework. If we continue that particular program, that means that still the country is in the bankrupt situation and struggling. Already.
Are we struggling?
No, that is why. So we are not struggling, because now, so we have stabilized the economy. So that was the biggest task, the challenge that we faced. We did it, and the stabilization is reflected in many economic indicators, and these indicators are more than what we expected and planned. So that is accepted by everyone, business community, even political economy, if you are genuine enough, accept. And not only, and international agencies, investors, and even the Bloomberg recently just announced that our plan was to prepare the country ready to repay your international debt by 2028. Now they say that by 2026, we would really review the situation and come back. So it means that, so country is on the right path, stabilized, so the economic trajectory can be directed towards that particular objective. So therefore, we need not to be constrained within such a framework. So that is why Excellency the President announced that this would be the last such kind of program. And not only his wishes. At one particular the seminar, the meeting held in Colombo, where the Gopinath,
the deputy
director just came, and she also said that I also wish that the way she is really commended and appreciated the program, how best we cooperate them, and she also said that I too wish that this would be the last this kind of program. So that is the reality.
Minister, with regard to the debt restructuring efforts and all, and coming into agreements with external and internal creditors, now I think most of it is done. So what exactly, like, where is the holdout right now, and when is the payment plan is going to take effect? Is 2027 is still the target date?
Yeah, target date is actually we have to repay the external debt starting from 2028. So everything is just on the plan, like to facilitate these things. So we are building required reserves, and by the IMF also has certain projections. So as of now, we are on target. So we will see how we are reaching. As of now, everything is positive, and debt restructuring has not got stuck, but in the society, kind of general sentiment is there with reference to the Sri Lankan airline ISB, that is 175 million US dollar bond, which was issued by Sri Lanka. Now, with the due interest payment, it has gone up to 205 million. Since that was an SOE, it was not the central government part. The debt restructuring took place by covering the public, like the central government did, and the IMF, the bond was not included in this. So therefore, after the completion of this particular debt restructuring, we happen to look at this thing, because without restructuring that, we cannot get the complete the clearance of the debt payment, the ability of the country, or what we call the credit, the rating of the country cannot be. But even with that, so the subject to that particular progress, now international credit agencies have upgraded the rating. So therefore, I don't say that is stuck. That is progressing. This is one. And another thing, Hamilton Reserve Bank also just did not want to accept our proposal restructuring, just for about 250 million US dollars. But now negotiations are just going on. In a way, it looks like they will also accept, because 75% of their holders agree to continue with this.
That's where the biggest concern that is currently existing in the minds of the people, in the minds of the business community, in the minds of many of the investors. 2028 is going to be the target date that we are restarting restarting servicing debt. At that particular point, are we on trajectory where our economy is not going to take another hit? Because that's where all these pundits who are not agreeing with you are forecasting, saying that, well, 2028 is going to be a very testing year, because right now we are just doing more of the same that was done prior to the 2022 crisis that we had. And what we are doing right now is not getting us the relevant amount of dough in terms of for the Treasury or the central bank to reservice the debt in 2028, which means what they're alluring is that taxes would drastically increase, and there would be a moment of repercussion, basically a repeat of 2022 would happen again. How do you see this? I know you disagree completely on this, but for that particular fact, are we in a position to service debt in 2028 right now economically?
Yes, Mahieash. So indeed, we are in such a strong position to tackle any kind of economic challenges. Just it is pretty obvious, those who really just contributed to this particular economic calamity and the problems in the past now see that how best economy has been stabilized, and gradually that is, so we are like economic trajectory is just taking off. So we are moving very well. So I mean the repercussion of the economic crisis and the price of this economic crisis, the largely borne by the general public. So this is the right and the duty of everyone, no matter whether you are a part of this economic crisis. At this particular juncture, as the citizen of this country, your duty is to contribute to take the country out of this particular crisis. But so those who are responsible and feel guilty of these things, they may try hard to create a kind of the suspicion, and just to reduce the confidence of investors, so whereby they think that the economic just progress could be pulled back, so it will never happen. So that could be one of the reasons. If someone does these kind of bad things to destabilize the country or fade the confidence that is being gradually developed, I think that is the worst thing that someone does to this particular country. So again, coming to these numbers, it is not that we are like just collecting money or keeping something in 2028, so we need this much money and we pay, and whether we would be able to pay or not. No, it is a part of this ongoing economic process. So we are, it is not something that the challenge would come in 2028. It is the challenge is with us. We are living with this particular challenge. We are taking the right measure. So this is how we have to assess the economic progress on continuous basis. So again, it comes to the debt. There are two parts, the foreign and local.
Yeah.
So nothing to worry now. The foreign, so local one even, so we happen to face with the local debt restructuring as well. Now, the local situation has been completely controlled. And we need not to worry about anything. The interest rate has been maintained very constantly, and there are no unnecessary fluctuations, no volatility at all, and it is unlikely that would really fluctuate. At the same time, inflation also has been arrested. In the meantime, the Treasury Department has been able to maintain a significant buffer, so that could be used to maintain the finance stability together with the central bank. So they are doing the right thing. So therefore, the government has a mandate at any point in time to use these tools and control the local debt. So nothing to worry. So our intention is to further to bring it down. The foreign one, everything depends on the amount of the reserves. For the how best. So that is what we are actually doing. So how best we are building the reserves. So don't worry. So there are different avenues of building the reserves. There are mainly 5. Exports revenue. So that is progressing very well. So compared to the past, so that is the number 1. And the remittances. So that is also just growing very well. So we would be able to take this year would be with the highest the amount of remittances. And the foreign tourism also for the dollars. So these are key robust the areas of building reserves at our capacity at this particular level. So they are growing. And one more, the other one is the foreign direct investment. That is also very crucial, because if foreign direct investment comes in, there will not be quick outflows. So we are building during the 1 year period, stabilized time period. We never expected to reach $1 billion for FDI. Even in the past, there were no any crisis and all these things. So how big was our foreign direct investments during this crisis period?
Itself, the United States Embassy, couple of weeks back, made out a statement saying doing business in Sri Lanka is really hard, and that's why American companies doesn't want to look at Sri Lanka as a destination where they want to invest, because it is a very cumbersome process. It is not business friendly at all. So they are basically saying, okay, hang on, we have people who would like to come, but they can't come because apparently you have so much of red tape. So that itself is hindering the access of certain investors who are willing to even come into Sri Lanka. America is not a country that we have actually looked into really in a strong manner, where we can bring in their businesses here. I mean, you have all the mega companies in the world right there. We just have to get a little bit from here and there. India is doing that particular task very well. We can get the support of India for that matter as well. Bangladesh to a certain extent is doing that as well in terms of apparel industry. So how do you address that? Because I know you're saying that bringing foreign direct investment is very important, but when a country like the United States itself is saying, look here, your way of doing business is not currently appropriate to these circumstances the world is in right now, so you got to change, and you got to change fast. So how do you address that?
Yeah, Mahieash, it was pretty obvious that the environment was not conducive, and the time taken to just clear the basic the requirement, just getting licenses and approvals and all those things just took a long period of, because as of now the investors are worried about the operating cycle if you just have to take more time. So that was the reality in the country. So because we are gradually changing the situation. If I just claim that no, everything is very perfect now, environment would come. So I don't say that this is, the basic infrastructure facilities and all those things have been made to be ideal for investors to attract. No, but we are gradually solving all this problem. So corruption has been really done away with, especially in the political sphere, and we are creating a level playing field for everyone, because we do not favor anyone. at the same time we do not discriminate anyone, and we are taking measures to bring the technology into the process. Technology would help us to reduce this operating cycle and the giving license and all those things. It takes time because we happen to start from the scratch. So that's the reason.
But
so yeah, one thing.
Are you converting, communicating that information into the investors? Because apparently, from the statement made by the U.S. Embassy, it looks like as if they have no clue.
Yeah, sometimes. So that is what we try our hard, because at the same time we have to parallelly address so many things, as you earlier highlighted, while taking measures in the economic front. At the same time, we need to address other issues, the corruption and the drug mafia, crimes and all those things are happening. Sometimes we admit the fact that there may be some inefficiencies in the communication. We gradually address these things, and the general communication in addition. Now we are building a very good the communication with diplomats. I think over time it would be all right. Meantime, His Excellency President Anil Dissanayake is also just visiting the other countries and building good relationships. Like from time to time, investor forums are also held. So they also, from investors' side, Mahieash, as you said, yes, they buy time, they observe because they don't want to take unnecessary risks. So they assess risks. So we have to take actions to reduce that particular risk. But the opposition or some other people, they are based on wrong information and misinformation, trying hard to create the suspicions among this. So that is not the right thing. Therefore, I again stress that the environment is not completely ideal, but we are positively taking all the measures. Hope that in coming years or the couple of years' time, we would be able to bring attractive investment. Even in the case of FDI, FDI, we didn't expect 1 billion to come, because still the situation is not that considerable. But even with the difficult time period, why such big amount came in? To some extent, investors have a feeling, and general sentiment is there, that now we need not to at least pay unnecessary commission, bribe, that and this. It is easy. But of course, they understand these delays in getting license and permissions. We would achieve these things together for sure.
Minister, we have to take a short commercial break. When we return, I want to talk about the budget. I want to talk about the appropriation bill that we're hoping to see. I think the budget discussion is coming in next month. But before that, let's take a short commercial break. I'm in conversation now with the Minister of Labour and also the Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Dr.Anil Jayantha, Fernando. Welcome back, everyone, to Get Real. I'm in conversation with the Deputy Minister of Economic Development and also the Minister of Labour, Dr. Anil Jayantha. Fernando, Minister, I want to get into the budget, the appropriation bill, which is going to hit our nation's parliament somewhere around in 7th of November. The speech will actually take place by the President himself, I believe, in 7th of November.
Yes.
Yeah, and after that we will get into the nitty-gritties of exactly what you all are proposing. But right now there are information with regard to the appropriation bill that you all have presented to the Parliament, and based on that there was an article on the BBC Singular Service which says that apparently the government's appropriation bill, in comparison to 2025 and comparing figures of 2026, the President's expenditure is what they are focusing mainly on, has increased threefold. Basically, they're citing the numbers in 2024 when Mr. Wickremesinghe was the President. His budget figures was 6.6 billion rupees. In 2025, I think the 3 months that President Anil Dissanayake took over, his amount was 2.9 billion rupees. And in 2026, the appropriation bill that is being currently presented, it has skyrocketed to 11.37 billion rupees. Now, one of the biggest promises the President made is saying that he will reduce his cost and set an example to the rest of the ministries and every line ministry that is there in his government to say, we're going to cut the cost of the government and give more to the people. So how do you respond to this article that is published on the BBC?
Okay, Mahieash. First, I have to tell you that this analysis is technically wrong. So
how so?
Yeah, maybe just referring to the numbers given in the appropriation bill. For example, I'll just first compare, because we have to compare comparables. You cannot compare apples with cows. So in 2025, of course, in the name, appropriation bill. So 2025, so number shown here is 2.9. So that is without the budget proposals to come in. In 2025, key 2 budget proposals were included in this. So that is none other than, so everyone know now, Clean Sri Lanka program, for which $5 billion rupees. And another one is the project for commercialization of research and innovation, for that 1 billion rupees, 6 billion. So therefore this number, even 2025, the allocation. So what we have to compare is the allocation and with the same line.
For the president.
Not only, this is the presidential secretariat because there are different budget headings. This is called the office of the president. It includes the president's salary, travel, fuel, electricity, his private staff, and official staff as well, that is the presidential secretariat, and other development programs. So these are the 2.
Even his line ministries are included into this?
No, line ministry is different. That is the Ministry of Finance. So that is a separate one. I'll come to that one. Okay. So therefore, we included these 2 points, the 2 key items, which consumes 6 billion for 2025. Same items have been included in 2026 one. So therefore, 11.37 billion is the estimate with the inclusion of the budget allocation for this year. So that is more than the last year for Clean Sri Lanka program and the project for commercialization of research and innovation.
So what you meant to say
is these two items are not there in 2025 appropriation amount of 2.9.
So 2.9 billion plus there should be these figures that has to come
9 billion, exactly 9 billion. Then if you compare 9 billion with this 11.37, that comparison is correct. Then there is an increase of
3 billion.
Not 3 billion, 2 billion, 2.37 billion.
Almost 3.
Yeah, 2.3 billion. Again, justification is increase for the Clean Sri Lanka project. That is a big one. So we will just provide the numbers. So when the second reading would be taken and in the parliament, and increase in the other project, the commercialization of research and innovation. And not only that, adjustment have been made in the presidential secretariat staff. You know that in 2025 we increased our salaries. The public the sector employee salary was increased by 60 to 80% of the range. Then that particular salary increase also comes there. So therefore, the president's personal expenses.
Exactly. Yeah. So that particular component, is it still the same or has it?
Actually, president's component. So as far as his salary is concerned, so that 1 million has been allocated, but other expenses such as fuel, traveling, electricity, water, utilities, and all those things. So since these numbers are not yet presented to the parliament, I do not the quote. So they have been further reduced. So this is, but like when you do a comparison analysis, we need to take all those things into account and need to wait and do a right analysis rather than just providing information to mislead the general public. And again, I want to highlight, if you just go back to 2024 and just like this information, 6.6 billion, just praising that the Ranil Wickremesinghe did not spend. But that was in the appropriation account. But how much did he spend? So he had, with the budget proposals, that was in the appropriation bill, but with the budget proposal, he had allocated exactly 39 billion, almost 40 billion. Just imagine. In the appropriation bill, it was 6.6, but with the proposals, with the development proposal, had allocated 40 billion, 34 billion more. So in an analysis, why you just, I do not know whether it is by a mistake or purposely did it. But so 2024, we also were in the part of the government. But during our particular time period, we reduce all the possible expenses. That is the reason why, so that adjusted, the revised the allocation for 2024 under Ranil Wickremesinghe's government, so that is amounting to 40 billion, was actually reduced to 25 billion, because by the time we came in, most of the things had been spent. But so 40 billion had gone down to 25 billion during our 3 months period. What does it mean? It very clearly says that we have stopped unnecessary expenses. And we have just taken the same example and continue. If you have just allocated something under the Presidential Secretariat, it is for more development focused things, much needed things. So in this increase of
so we will get the numbers when the budget speeches.
These are the gross aggregate numbers. Within these aggregate numbers, you can see individual line items at the budget speech. Therefore, I request for analysts to do with the correct information and comparable information.
I think we'll get a clearer picture after 7th of November once all these information comes and when the debate starts in Parliament. In that same article, there is this breakdown of line items which basically says this amount of money goes into these ministries and these allocation. Now, the most amount, 634 billion rupees, is going to your ministry, which is the Finance and Economic Development Ministry. And then you have the Government Administrative Ministry, which is getting the second place, around 596 billion. Health is getting 555, Security 455, and Transportation, ports, civil aviation, all that, 446. Now, if you look at the most crucial numbers, here you take health and also the transport and civil aviation, which is impacting the lives of normal day-to-day people. And that is getting like the third and the fifth treatment, and your ministry is getting most amount of money. Why do you need most amount of money and not the health ministry and building roads and the development sector?
Mahieash. So again, like that presentation is also really to great extent misleading, because we had a past where like the ministry is just with the kind of power they managed to allocate certain money, had ran their own programs. So because of that, the mentality, when you see a number, the gross number, people also might say, hey, yes, huge amount has been allocated to this ministry and president, so what they said is totally different what they are doing. In fact, this is the gross allocation. For example, the amount, the number one, the amount is for the finance, the planning and economic development. This is in the appropriation bill. This includes so many big or the huge amounts which will be reappropriated to other ministries. For example, when we take social spending, big, huge Aswasma program, where does it go? So basically, Aswasma program, out of this amount, 240 has been allocated for Aswasma. It is not for the finance ministry, because they are allocated in line with the channels through which money would be distributed. So if it is kept under finance or the social welfare benefit board, it would be there. So or otherwise that may be transferred to social development ministry. So if that is the case, so that is not an expenditure that would be done the whim and fancies of the minister or the president. No, it is just appropriate one for the social spending. Another one I would like to tell you, according to the new the Public Financial Management Act, we have to we can keep a maximum of 2% of the total expenditure, primary expenditure, for what we call treasury miscellaneous account. Because we had an experience in the past, we kept so much huge amounts for suspense expenditure. Now you can't do that. The maximum amount is just to address certain things, it's 2%. That comes to almost 85 billion. So that is there. That is also there. And in addition, we have a space for the new budget proposals. That is also almost around 83 billion. And in addition, there is another amount for SME loan scheme, that is 30 billion. And to do the much needed restructuring for RAMIS, it means that is the IT system in the finance ministry, respectively 10 billion and 5 billion. And again, there is another decentralized capital expenditure, capital budget, that is 5 billion. Likewise, when you just sum up this particular list, so more than 60%, 70% of the amount allocated for the time being.
What was the need to do that, Minister? Because now this is giving a completely different picture of what exactly that you all are really doing.
This is a technical matter, Mahieash.
No, that's what I'm saying. Now, if you look at like whatever said and done, it is been analyzed by not economists. We don't have 22.5 million economists in the country. It's a normal day-to-day people who gets looks at a graph like this and basically takes an understanding within how the government is allocating financial aid to certain aspects of things. In this particular appropriation bill, I know this is still not the finalized budget. In that, it looks like as if the most important, the healthcare sector, the infrastructure sector, and also if you look at the whole breakdown, IT, the digital economy is one of the biggest pillars of your government, which you have cut across to all line ministries, and they are like getting only around 13.4. Let me actually get the correct figure. 13.62 billion rupees for the digital economic ministry. So, but right now you said in your ministry itself, there are allocations for revamping of IT services and bringing in those structures back into place. So what is the reason for you all do it like this? Because this gives a completely different wrong picture.
No, it is not a wrong picture, just since the analyst has just looked at the gross amount included in this appropriation bill has just presented as it is without doing analysis. That could be the reason. Even just coming to the point that you just highlighted about IT and digitalization. Of course, out of the amount allocated for the finance ministry, so huge amount is there for IT. So that will come after the budget proposals, and some programs, once they are just decided, the final amount would be allocated to respective ministries. For instance, the IRD, the RAMIS system. So we next year we need to do a big restructure and the change in. For that we have allocated together with the tax administration system 15 billion rupees, and for the custom, the scanning system, IT system, because we are really going for this IT enabled the technology. The enabled system. So we have allocated for everywhere where it is possible to bring this technology integrated system and the digitization. So even the custom, we have allocated 7.5. Excise department, another 4 billion. Likewise, if you just go to each and every department, the revenue collection department and the other the public service agencies to deal with identity cards, passport, because we need to bring everyone on one particular platform where the data is shared, and then it is easy to integrate system and the fair services and efficient services can be given. So therefore, wait and see how this amount would be allocated.
I don't want to go by this
and
article.
For the infrastructure as well.
I don't want to go by this article anymore since you are refuting most of the data it has presented. But point blank, before we go in for a break, government expenditure in comparison to 2025 and the figures that you all have presented in 2026, what's the difference?
Difference is not big here.
Has it increased or decreased?
Yes, of course, it increased. When the now, unlike in the past, now when the estimated GDP increases, government expenditure of course increases, because that is the space we have. For instance, last year, that is for 2025, our estimated GDP was 33,000 billion rupees, of which the maximum amount we could go for primary expenses without interest was 13% of that. So 33,000, 13% means 4,285. 4,285 for last year. So that was the maximum.
This year?
This year, our estimated GDP,
next year.
For 2026, we have to estimate GDP. So that estimation is done based on the assumption given in this legal framework And now we are working with this IMF framework, so some the Public Financial Management Act, all those things are there. And based on the assumption, even inflation assumptions, by taking into account all those assumptions, it has been estimated and agreed as 34,500. So therefore 13% of 34,500 is the maximum amount of our primary expenditure. So therefore this time our total government expenditure, the primary expenditure will go up by a small amount. But whereas the interest component, so last year it was 2,950 billion, almost 3 trillion. Now it has slightly come down to 2,600 billion something. So then from there is a saving, but there is of course the government is there to spend money when you earn. However, good thing that you see in 2026 budget is, no matter whether this much has increased or decreased, finally what is the impact to your budget deficit? What is the impact to your net borrowing? That has significantly reduced.
What you meant to say is 2026
budget deficit is less than budget deficit
2025?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the borrowing limit also is less than that of 2025. So that is
I really want a quick answer because we have to go for a break. Sure. With regard to revenue collection, tax collection, the first 6 months figures were good.
Yeah.
There was a progress there. But can the government continue to keep that momentum going?
Yeah, we strongly believe that we can continue that particular momentum going because like now August, all 3 revenue departments have just exceeded their targets.
Yeah.
Our total, the revenue plus grants is for almost 5,000, that is exact number is 4,990. So we strongly believe that we would be able to pass that particular target.
We're going to take a short commercial break. When we return, more on the economy with Minister of Labour and also Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Dr.Anil Jayantha. Fernando, you're watching Get Real. We'll be right back. Welcome back everyone to Get Real. I'm in conversation with Deputy Minister of Economic Development and also Minister of Labour, Dr. Anil Jayantha. Fernando, we've been having a very technical oriented discussion with regard to the appropriation bill, the budget that has come to, basically the accurate budget proposal will come to the Parliament on the 7th of November. And from that point onwards, we will actually get to know exactly the accurate numbers, despite the fact that there are numbers being thrown here and there based on the appropriation bill that has been presented by this government to the Parliament. Minister, I want to talk about completely other areas with regard to taxation and also certain increase in certain utilities that might come into effect. I don't know whether the budget is going to propose certain increments of that. Electricity trade unions, certain electricity trade unions are saying that by 4:30 today, Monday, on Poya Day, that they will start action, taking trade union action with regard to the government's or the PUCSL's decision to increase the electricity tariffs once again, when they clearly says there is no need to do that. Apparently, one trade union member said that apparently the cost is now at zero in terms of comparing. Why does the government wants to increase prices of electricity again? Because you very well know if you do that, that's going to cascade into every other industry as well.
Yes, Mahieash, your question has 2 parts. The number one is about taxation and whether taxes would be increased, decreased, or what with the structure and all those things. So, in fact, what I have to can tell you is about our target and objective. It is the 15.3. So basically, target of expected GDP. So therefore, the estimated GDP is 34,500 billion rupees, of which we are supposed to collect 15.3% as taxes and grants. So with the given structure, it is possible for us to read these things. However it is, so these things will be presented to the parliaments once we just taken decisions and how that is going to be structured. So therefore, if I just say increase, decrease, and so that is not the proper. So this is the target I can tell you. And as far as the electricity is concerned, of course, electricity is in a way a kind of commodity, but on the other hand, it's a service. It's really part and parcel of your life and connected to the economy.
Every industry.
Everything. Therefore, our long-term objective, our energy strategy is to bring the cost down. But prevailing, just due to the prevailing the context and some power purchasing agreements and the mixture and all those things, in a way relatively high. However it is, now we are in the strategy or mechanism of giving the electricity price just to recover your cost, your generation cost, transport, the transmission cost, distribution cost, and likewise. So some costs are there. So therefore the strategy is to cost recovery pricing for electricity. We will do that. How it is done, not subjectively, but based on the facts and figures provided by the electricity board on the one hand, because electricity board is the one which knows the cost. So it calculates. At the same time, that is being audited and verified by an independent body, that is what you said, the PUC cell. So that's up to them. So they'll come out with the numbers, they'll reconcile and tell us.
Is there a need to increase prices right now?
That depends. We do not know. So as of now, so we do not look at of course, I did not just check the numbers because the submission has been already, I heard that has been already done by the electricity board to PUC cell. They will verify this. Sometime maybe by looking at the given numbers, electricity board may have suggested, we do not know. But PUCSL will verify. Once they agree upon, then they'll make an announcement. We will see. So we need not to worry. But we, as the government does not have a policy of either increasing, decreasing or playing with this electricity. Because we want to, in the long run, bring the cost down really by reducing the electricity cost.
How long will that take?
It really depends. Sometimes it would take several years, I suppose. Some maybe the plants, maybe in the renewable energy plants. It depends. Some maybe 2-3 years time to construct even. Because in the electricity, the mixture has a diversity from renewable energy to the fossil fuel as well. But we try hard to reduce that component and go for renewable energy part by exploring the possibilities that we have. At the same time, by considering the constraints that we have when it comes to renewable energy, there is an opportunity, but on the other hand, there is a constraint as well. We have limited land and other spaces. But there are other options, maybe nuclear and hydrogen likewise, because the experts are looking into these things. So we have given them the freedom. Within our energy strategy, things will happen. So definitely, we will bring our energy cost in the longer run to bring the cost of production down. So whereas the general price level can also be brought down.
Indeed. As we will be heading into the budget on the 7th of November next month, we will definitely have more conversations around that with the Minister. But right now, we have to end our conversation. Thank you very much, Minister, for taking the time and coming up and on a poor day like today and coming and explaining to our viewers as to what exactly the government is doing and what is happening in the economic front. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mahieash. Looking forward to see you again.
Yeah, exactly. You better come after the budget discussion. Thank you very much for watching. That's all the time we have for you tonight. We'll be back again next week with another episode of Get Real. See you then. Bye for now.